G'day folks, it's Cortezerino, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cherry blossom treehouse, which you can't really see at the moment. So let's back out a little bit and have a better look. So here it is, and the super secret special thing about this design is that it is designed to be a starter base. You don't need any fancy materials to build this at all. You can actually start building it on the very first day you open a new world. So you don't need to go looking for all kinds of stuff. You can just get yourself a bed and start building. So you don't have to live in a hole in the ground for your very first day in Minecraft. This can be your first house. So all you need is a bunch of cherry wood, which you should have scattered all around you. You can have some optional pumpkins, but you don't need them to start building. You can start building without them and add them later. You will need a little bit of bone meal, so grab yourself a composter and compost whatever you can to get a little bit of that. You can have an optional 2 flower pots, and then we'll also need some iron a bit later on, but you don't have to get that straight away. Start building first, and we'll get the iron later. So let's check out the interior of your very first base. So down below, there's not much except for a trapdoor that can lead down to your mineshaft. And if we come up to the top floor, there's actually way more room inside this treehouse than you might have thought at first. We've got lovely cherry leaf walls and ceiling, so you get the nice animations coming down here. We've got a massive space for storage, so those are all double chests. And if you need to expand, you can put them on the side walls as well. And we've got a few furnaces, and out here, a lovely little balcony. And I've just left plenty of room for you to put in whatever you want for your very first base. But you might be thinking, Cortez, that looks pretty difficult building all those leaves. Well, we don't actually have to build them. We are going to grow the trees. So in the beginning, we're just going to build this structure here. And then we're just going to come in here, plant all our saplings around the middle here, and down the sides, and then wait for them to grow. And if I speed up the random tick speed, we can watch this happen in fast forward. So every treehouse you make is going to look a little bit different depending on how the trees grow, but you can always get in there and just shape the leaves to look however you like. Okay, to begin, grab some cherry logs and we're going to build them up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks tall. Then make some ladders, and not on the bottom block, but starting right here, we're going to add 5 ladders. Then dig out that block and that one, and just place a torch in there. We're going to add a jack-o'-lantern later, but I'm assuming you don't have iron for the shears yet. And then just place a trapdoor against that torch. That'll be your mineshaft, but don't start digging now. We're going to start building the tree first. We'll go mining later on. Then we're going to dig out these 8 blocks right here. And we're going to place in cherry planks. Then we'll dig out that block and we'll place in a cherry log. Now grab some cherry logs and we're going to place 2 right there. Then grab some dirt and we're going to place 1 in each corner. Did I mention at the start you'd need dirt? Well, I'm sure you can find some. And then we'll go 3 logs right there, another 3 right there. Grab your dirt again, place them in the corners. And then 2 cherry logs like that. Now come to the inside, and on top of that cherry log, we're going to place a cherry door. And then on top of all of your cherry logs here, we're going to build them up till they are 6 blocks tall, so the same height as the one with the ladder. And above our door, we're going to place an upside down cherry stair, and then 1, 2, 3 logs on top. Now for each corner here, I'll build 1, and you can copy it to the other 3 corners. We're going to place 2 more dirt, and then 2 there, and 1. So it's just coming down on the angle. Now grab some cherry wood. This is the one with bark on every single side. And up here we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then knock out the one in the middle. And then we'll go to cherry logs. I want you to place 2 there, and 1, and 2 there, and 1. And back to your cherry wood, the one with bark everywhere. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1. So that's how the base of your tree will look. Go ahead and do that in each corner. And once you've done that, come along to the front and we'll place in 2 cherry ladders and we'll put torches on top, and we're going to replace these torches with lanterns once we have some iron. So go ahead and do this on each side. We'll need light around the base of our tree because once we grow all the branches and the leaves, we don't want mobs spawning down here. Okay, once you've done that, you can come to the inside here and climb up your ladder. And what we're going to do on top is just make a big square out of dirt. We're going to plant our saplings here later on. And we're just going to put a torch on the side of that dirt. And don't place any more torches up the top here because they will stop our trees from growing. Then what we're going to do, just with dirt again, in each corner, we're going to place a dirt block out on the diagonal. And then you can grab your cherry logs and we're just going to connect the dirt. And once that's done, we're going to do pretty much the same thing, but we're coming up 1 block. But we're just going to run our logs all the way around, placing dirt blocks in the corners. So when you're done, you should be looking just like this. Now on top of these dirt blocks here, we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stripped cherry logs. So go ahead and do this in each corner. And once you've built those up 7 blocks tall, just against the top log here, we're going to run our stripped cherry logs all the way around to make a big square. Just like that. Now come along to the side where your door is, so the front of the build, and right here we're going to place a dirt block right in the middle, and place a dirt block underneath with another one each side, and then we'll place 2 like this, and then 1 against the log, and we're going to break these 3. So we've just got a nice little triangle, and against each of these blocks of dirt we're going to place 2 cherry logs poking out like that, and you can place a cherry button on the ends of each of these. And then to build our balcony, right in the middle here underneath this log, we're going to place a cherry trapdoor with a cherry slab each side. I probably don't need to keep saying cherry, do I, since it's the only wood we're using. Up here we're going to place 2 planks and then an upside down stair in the middle, and then we're going to go back to slabs and we're going to place 3 across the front and an extra one on each side, and then grab your trapdoors and we'll place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then on top of our trapdoors, hold shift and we're going to place a fence on each of those. And then on top of each fence, we're going to place another trapdoor, just like that. Okay, now you can come down the bottom and we're going to place some dirt blocks, but we're not going to place it out the front, so don't do it on the side where your door is, but on the other 3 sides, just above our torches, we're going to place 1, 2, 3 dirt blocks, and then you can break those 2 and connect them. So you should have 5 dirt blocks in total. So go ahead and do this on the 2 sides and at the back. And we're going to plant our cherry blossom saplings on these. But don't do it yet. Before we do that, we've got to remove the dirt in the corners here. So these 2 blocks of dirt, because they will stop our trees from growing. And we also have to remove the dirt just up here. And once again, make sure you don't have any torches up the top except for that one right there. And then you can go ahead and plant your saplings. So plant them on every block of dirt right there, and then plant them along the sides here. And then all we're going to do is wait for them to grow. And as they're growing, keep an eye out for mobs, because we might get a few shady areas here. Hopefully that torch is enough, but just be careful. And keep an eye out for the bees' nests or the beehives. These trees love to grow them, and they will stop the other trees from growing. So if you see a little beehive appear, you'll have to break it. So have fun with that. But as we're waiting for the trees to grow, grab yourself a composter and forage around for anything to compost, because undoubtedly there will be a few trees that won't grow by themselves and we'll have to bone meal them later. And as we're waiting for them to grow, try and find some pumpkins for jack-o'-lanterns, and you can start your mineshaft. So dig down there and get yourself some iron, because we'll need some shears to get some of the leaf blocks and to shear our pumpkins and make some lanterns. And once your trees have grown, you should be looking something like this, but yours, of course, will look a tiny bit different depending on how the trees grew. So then you can just run around and look for a random sapling that's refused to grow, and a little bit of bone meal should encourage it. So now we're going to go to the inside, and I'm pretty sure I saw a beehive appear as this was happening. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to replace that torch with a jack-o'-lantern. You should have one by now. And actually, while we're down here, you can come up here, open that trapdoor, and replace that log with a jack-o'-lantern as well. Okay, now it's time to come up here, and you might have to clear out a little bit of room to get up. And yes, I've got lots of saplings, so I'm going to go searching for that beehive. But as you're clearing logs in here, try not to go any wider than these logs I'm standing on, so you can clear a little bit of room for yourself. But where we've got this little hole in the ground, just try not to fall down, but clear everything on the inside of that, and use your shears to clear the leaves, because we're going to need some leaf blocks as well. And from here we can just dig up a little bit. I'll try and find it. And there it is. That is stopping all of these saplings from growing. So my advice is break that and disappear down your mineshaft as quickly as possible before the bees get you. Okay, we had a few trees grow, but there are always some that just refuse, and they need that little bit of bone meal. So once you've done that, you can just clear out this little space again so you can see what you're doing. And what we're going to do is break all of these bits of dirt. And then everywhere where we had a dirt block, I want you to place a cherry plank. So we'll run these all the way around. You can add an extra ladder. Then we'll put a plank above that and a trapdoor. And then we'll probably have to clear ourselves an extra block of height here so we can get up and run planks all the way around at this height right here, so we can cover up those little gaps in the floor. And when you're done, you should be, well, this is going to take me a little while. I'll finish this off. When you're done, you should be looking like this with a 7 block by 7 block square of cherry plank floor. So now what we're going to do is come to the corners here and find our stripped cherry logs. So just break the leaves each side, or you should be using the shears, so we'll need some leaf blocks later. And then we're just going to get rid of the blocks of wood and leaves in between our stripped logs. So when you're done, you should be looking like this, and these logs are telling us where the edges of our room are going to be, so don't break anything past these. So then what you can do is put your back to one of the logs and get rid of any blocks in here until you can see our stripped log up above. And we're just going to continue to clear all of these out until we get to the stripped log right here. Just like that. And we're going to do that on every single side. And once you've done that on each side, we've got this big mass of leaves in the middle. We're just going to clear all of this out, so don't go any higher than the height of that stripped log right there. But yeah, everything in the middle here, clear it out so we can make our room. So when you're done, you should be looking like this. And if there are any gaps in the wall, like right here, just go ahead and place in a leaf block and plug it all up. Same with the roof. If there are any gaps in there, just plug it up with leaves. And then over at the front here, you can see our triangle of logs. What we're going to do is just break any leaf blocks underneath. And then you can come out and look at your balcony, and any leaf blocks in front of our buttons, go ahead and break them as well. Just so when we're outside, we can see our little triangle there. So now what we're going to do is grab some cherry planks, and not at the front, you can leave that bare for the moment, but on each other wall, what we're going to do is place planks all the way up next to our stripped logs. We will run them across like that, and then bring them down, and then place an extra one in the corners like that. And then everywhere where you can see a log, just break the log and replace it with a leaf block. So we've got a lovely leaf wall. So I've done it on that side, do it at the back and that side as well. So when you're done, you should be looking just like this. Then we're going to turn our attention to the front. Grab some logs, and starting right here next to our strip logs, we're going to build that all the way up to the top, and we'll do the same on this side. Then next to those, we are going to place cherry planks. So build 2 of them all the way up like so. Now grab some carpet. I've got pink carpet. If you haven't found any pink dye, you can just use white carpet. And place it on top of that jack-o'-lantern, and then we'll place a cherry door right there. Then come to the outside, and just on top of the logs, we're going to place 2 more cherry doors, and you can come back to this side. Then we're going to grab some cherry stairs, and leaving a block gap above our doors, we're going to place 3 of them upside down, and then you can come back to this side, and we're going to place an upside down cherry stair there, and another one there, and then a cherry slab. And then against those, we're going to place 1, 2, 3 cherry trapdoors and flick them down. Then you can jump up on your balcony. Just up here, we're going to place a jack-o'-lantern and cover it with a trapdoor. And while we're out here on the balcony, this is an optional step. I'm going to place a fence each side there. On top of those, I'm going to place flower pots and just put in whatever flower you can find, even a cherry sapling if you want to. Then come back to the inside, and you can see that gap up there. We're just going to fill that in with 6 furnaces. Then grab some cherry planks, and in each corner I want you to jump up and place a plank up there. And just below those planks, we're going to do a fence, and you can hang a lantern from it. So go ahead, place one in each corner. And once you've done that, on each wall just between our planks, we're going to run slabs all the way along like so. And once you've done that, we're going to place an extra slab just in each corner like this. And then wherever you can see a log up there, just break it and replace it with a cherry leaf. And now we have a lovely ceiling. Now on the opposite wall from our doors here, so up the back there, what we're going to do is break that block and place in a crafting table. And while we're here, we can place our bed. I've got a nice pink bed. I think it looks cute. And then we're going to do some designing on this back wall. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and break out 2 blocks and break them out in the same shape as our little archway of planks right here. So just go ahead, break all of those, just like that, and there will probably be a few gaps in the floor there. Just go ahead and plug them up with cherry leaves. And we're also going to break any logs on the floor and replace them with leaf blocks. And we'll do the same for the walls. We don't want any visible logs at all, and if there are any in the roof, they are going to stop our chests from opening, so definitely get rid of those. So now that's done, you can just come in here and we'll start placing our chests. Fill up the entire area. The last 2 will be a little bit tricky to place, so get them in there, and then you can turn them all into double chests. Just like that, and I think I accidentally broke the logs down here, so I might replace them, although you might like to have leaf blocks down the bottom. So that is the interior of our base complete. You'll probably clutter it up with all kinds of things. So now it's time to go outside and make our tree look good. And you can see it certainly doesn't look good at the moment. So the first thing to do is get rid of all of these tree trunks on the sides. So just go ahead, break all of these. If you have a bit sticking out here that looks like a good branch and you want to leave it in, then you're more than welcome to go ahead and do that. But what we're going to do is all of these visible logs here, we're just going to break them and replace them with leaf blocks. And I prefer not to have any branches. I'm just going to get rid of everything. So that's what it should look like when you're done. All of those visible logs up there are now gone. Not to be confused with these logs on the sides here. Make sure to leave those in. But yeah, just move on to the next side and get rid of all of these. So when you're done, you should be looking something like this. So the next step is come along to these corners and you see our log ends right here. We're just going to place 2 leaf blocks in each corner to cover them up. Already got a leaf block there. And then come to the outside and look for any bits of stripped logs there. And you can also come up the top, just look for anything visible that you sort of need to plug up. So down here, I don't like that I can see my chests there, so I might just add a few more leaf blocks. Okay, so the next step is to make our tree look good. I don't mind it. I think it's sticking out a little bit too much on the outside here, so I might give this side a bit of a trim. And this is where your artistic talents will have to come in. You'll have to make it look pretty all by yourself. I can't really help you with that. But yeah, just shave a bit off the end and then sort of round it off. We'll see how that looks. Yeah, it's probably sticking out a little bit too much still. Yeah, that's better on the side now. And I don't actually mind how much it sticks out at the front, but yes, once again, this bit's horrible. I'm probably going to shave 3 leaf blocks off this side. And once you've done that, you can come along to the front and just adjust it however you like until you're happy with the way it looks. And I'm happy with that tree. I'm going to call it done. No, I'm not. I'm going to take out these leaf blocks here. You've got all the time in the world, so you can spend ages tinkering with your treehouse until you like the way it looks. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that is it, guys. That is how to build a starter base treehouse with stone tools. So that's it, guys. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and have fun in your awesome new starter base. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.